Unlockables are a rare example of something that can only ever improve a game. Even when they're done badly, you still get a short intake of satisfaction that very few other moments in games can offer you. Who wouldn't want a game that keeps on giving?
The act of unlocking something is one that other mediums can't really match. It's the idea that a book or a film will give you a set experience, while video games will drip feed you more content as you play. It's all about the small victories, the knowledge that something that you've done, maybe something you've worked hard on, has enhanced the game you started with and given you more to play with. Characters are arguably the best kind of unlockables because it feeds straight back into your available options for playing the game. If you think how detached achievements are by comparison, being rewarded with a new character is one hell of a reward that may well keep you going for some time. Games tend to treat new characters differently depending on the tone of the game, but it's hard to get past that sweet feeling of effectively expanding your game. It's probably worth more now. If you need me, I'll be on eBay. Ah, the human brain. So powerful and yet so inviting. Frankly, it's no wonder that zombies go crazy for it. There's probably a lot to be gained from chomping down on someone's grey matter. But spare a thought for the vegetarian zombies out there, forced to mindlessly pursue the human brain when in a previous life, they would have never thought about it. Attacking your friends and family is one thing, but going against your ethics? Truly horrifying. Thankfully though, this crisis was fully explored in Resident Evil 2, and the vegetarian zombies had something to fall back on.
If you had enough skill and patience of Resident Evil 2, you might get lucky enough to scrape some A ranks, but if you were dedicated enough to A rank virtually everything, you unlocked a super secret character. A human-sized sentient block of tofu.
About time video games properly represented the so far untapped potential of perceptive bean curd. I mean, Resident Evil games have that odd undercurrent that runs throughout the series. The same reason why you can unlock a suit of armor for Ashley in Resi 4. But I think it's safe to say that Tofu may just be the weirdest and subsequently greatest unlockable character in an RE game. You might not get to stare at Ada Wong's butt all day, but you do get a chance to knife some dudes in the Tofu Survivor, a minigame where the previous playable character looked a bit like this. And really, this is what I would want for getting so many A ranks elsewhere. If you're good enough to do that, then you surely want the extra challenge that comes with running around as a block of tofu armed with only a combat knife. Surprised it's not easier actually, I never really liked the texture of tofu. I imagine zombies didn't fancy him much either.
A lot of times in games, you see something that you really want and it consumes you. You don't come to appreciate the things that you already have. It's effectively, the grass is always greener on the other side. And before I played it, I believed this to be the case with Devil May Cry 3. Seriously, who wouldn't want to play as Dante?
Maybe that's the wrong way to go about things. Devil May Cry 3's insanely tuned combat system leaves you feeling like no challenge is too great for Dante and his mad skills. Except of course Japanese normal mode, that shit was intense. But you see your twin brother Virgil absolutely wreck you in the opening cinematic and just... I wanna be you! Dante's fine and everything, but Virgil was the carrot on the end of the stick for you to beat the story. It didn't happen at the end of the original release, but come the end of the special edition and Virgil in all his glory was in your hands. The sad thing is that while you get new cutscenes at the start of Virgil's campaign, if you want to call it that, you don't actually get a new path through the game. Even boss fights against Virgil have just been recolored slightly to look like Dante if you squinted a bit. Virgil's fighting style isn't as deep as Dante's, but damn is he quick. DMC3's combat excelled due to its pace, and if you were proficient enough at it, you could pull off some real spectacles. Virgil might not be as physically strong as Dante, but the guy attacks with such speed that it quickly doesn't become a problem. He also doesn't have the guns that Dante has, but as a trade-off you get lots of glowy swords instead. That kind of compromise would make a lot of FPS games a lot more interesting, that's for sure. Oh hey, what kind of gun is that? Oh this? It's just my glowy swords. They're pretty cool. Do you remember a time when characters in Smash Bros games were unlocked as opposed to downloaded as later DLC? I mean, not to have a go at Smash 4's downloadable content, as it is handled quite well for what it is, but I still remember with great fondness pouring hundreds of hours into Melee and Brawl and just stumbling onto a new character. Brawl less so because of Subspace Emissary, but goddamn, Melee was just a goldmine for unlockable characters that you had to do some menial tasks to unlock. 3 out of 5 ain't bad. It's just as well that Melee was such a good game, otherwise plugging in dozens of hours of gameplay would have been a lot more arduous than it actually was. Getting Mr. Game & Watch was a pain, mostly because I thought the only way you could get him was from playing 1,000 fucking versus matches! But thanks to other unlock methods, it wasn't that bad. Mewtwo, on the other hand, had no shortcuts. 20 combined hours of playing versus mode or 700 matches? Fuck. I had so much time back then. It was one hell of a reward though, being in complete control of a legendary Pokemon. In the eyes of many, the legendary Pokemon. And smacking around Nintendo's best and brightest is an experience that's hard to replicate. Seriously, when you're just playing Melee casually, not knowing that Mewtwo's in this game, and you see this, most people would flip the fuck out.
Maybe it's a testament to how loved Mewtwo was in Smash Bros. That people were so saddened that he didn't make it into Brawl, but alternatively, incredibly happy that he returned in Smash 4. I mean, he's not the best character in the game, but there's something about controlling a legendary Pokemon, you get this sense of power, and it's pretty incredible. I think everyone is a closet Mewtwo fan.
Nothing says unlockable character more than playing as the bad guy. It's almost always going to be something that you can delve into after beating the game. Would be kind of awkward otherwise. Only one man can stop Shao Kahn's evil plans, and that guy is Shao Kahn. Who the fuck wrote this? But the benefits is that you're put in control of this all-conquering powerhouse whose goals and agendas shape up most of whatever kind of plot you have in your game. Combine this with an April Fool's joke relating to there being a secret character in Super Street Fighter 2, which there wasn't, until Capcom caught wind of this and brought in Akuma, and we have one of the coolest concepts for an unlockable character ever conceived.
That April Fool's story is absolutely hilarious. Electronic Gaming Monthly ran a hoax saying that you could unlock Ken and Ryu's master by doing some super secret trick or something, and obviously fans were a little disappointed when they realised that this was a lie. But Capcom saw this and decided to put in Akuma just to appease some fans. Guys, Capcom used to be kinda cool.
Oh man, could you imagine how it must have felt preparing to face off against M. Bison only for this random character to show up, beat the crap out of him, and then challenge you instead? Akuma introduced himself to the world in style, but in terms of actually unlocking him, he puts up a fight. I mean, that's the whole point of this unlocking system, but his AI will make you sweat to get him as a playable character. Once you get him, he plays a lot like Ken and Ryu, but way more brutal in execution. As the series grew outwards and he started to crop up all over the place as a secret character, even turned up as the final boss in Skyward Sword, what was that about? He started to get more unique moves, but ever since 1994, he's been one of gaming's favourite bad guys. And to think, he wouldn't be around if it wasn't for an April Fool's joke. Put lots of efforts into your jokes. It might just end up in a fighting game someday.
I find some of the joys of unlocking characters comes with the method of unlocking them. You could keep it simple and just ask the player to do lots of one thing or something particularly difficult, or if you're feeling creative, you could send an entire community of people on the wildest of goose chases.
Edmund McMillen is a crazy, crazy man. Never mind that he's one of the minds behind The Binding of Isaac and all the dark humour that comes with that game, but he's also a sucker for a secret. With the remake, Binding of Isaac Rebirth, a decision was made to hide a character within the game's code that you'd only be able to unlock through dying in a series of elaborate ways. Supposedly, you'd find out how to do this by dying in a specific way and piecing together the puzzle the game started to hand out to you. Instead, what should have taken months to figure out took data miners 1 week to find, and the lost was uncovered very quickly, much to the dismay of Macmillan. Fast forward a year to Halloween 2015 and the release of Afterbirth, Binding of Isaac's new DLC, and there was clear anticipation that there would be something similar this time around. It started quietly, there certainly wasn't anything in the game that people could data mine, but what unfolded was one of the most insane instances of community developer interaction I've ever seen. For a start, there was this obsession with the number 109. Greed Mode's donation machine would jam at 109 coins. It apparently took 109 hours for data miners to discover the loss since the release of Rebirth. Streams were crashing at 9 minutes past 10 in the evening. The 109th item in the game, Money is Power, had a hidden message, and a whole host of cryptic tweets. But then it got weirder. Like JFK assassination conspiracy weird. A thumbnail to an achievement is all that was needed for the blue touch paper to be lit, and all of a sudden there were images relating back to films, cutscenes from the game that mimic scenes from said film, and people took a trip to California to find Isaac posters with even more clues on them. It led to phone numbers with voicemails hiding backwards messages, which in turn were hiding GPS coordinates for Santa Ana in California. And I've paraphrased a lot of this, but it finished with people digging up a little greed statue with more code on it relating to a Twitter account. They logged onto it, gave it a voice like one of the voicemails asked, and boom, new character unlocked in a patch that was released soon after. The character himself, the Keeper, he's alright. He starts with triple shot, has coins for health, and you need to play greed mode a lot to get him, but the real story is the ARG that came before. Like, fuck me.
This being RabbidLuigi, and what I love the most about this is that everything had a payoff. With conspiracy theories, you're trying to find connections where there really aren't any, but with this, every little thing was important and had some sort of purpose to it. I can't imagine how much effort was put into making this possible. It's not really something that I could do. Or maybe I already have. Nah, I haven't. You can stop looking.
Wanna have a say on what I talk about next week? Leave a top 5 suggestion in the comment section below and go follow me on Twitter, where later in the week I'll be compiling the best submissions and setting up a vote over there. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that. Someone gave me a cold at the start of the week, so I had to balance my time between working on this video and furiously sneezing, and you can just about hear how nasally my voice was. Not sure if you can still hear that now. But anyway, we've only got one top 5 left to go this year, and I'm talking about shitty Sonic games, and if you'd like to discuss the ineptitude of some of these games, Twitter and Facebook, my friend. You know this by now.